Hello everyone, welcome to another video from Your Tech Today. In this video I'm going to be giving you my review of the LeEco 55-inch 4K LED TV. But before we go further in the video, I would like to talk in detail about the remote that is supplied with the TV. So this is what the remote looks like. It's a little bit on the heavier side than your traditional remote control. It runs on two AA batteries which go in here, and on top you have your normal IR emitter, but this remote, when the TV is switched on, works on radio frequency rather than IR to control the TV. Only the power button works on IR. So as our camera can see the IR LED, so you can see it is emitting right now. And only the power button is always on IR, and once the TV switches on, everything goes to radio control except the radio frequency except the power button. So you can see if I press volume up, as right now the TV is off, it is emitting IR light, but once the TV is on, this IR light will go off except for the power button. So let me talk about some of the buttons on the remote. So this is the power key, your microphone over here, mute key, this is to bring up your keyboard, the settings button, the mouse toggle on and off, where the remote works itself like a mouse on screen, volume keys, channel. This is a dedicated screenshot button. This is the mic button. When you press this, you can talk into the mic for various functions which will be improved in the future. Some arrow keys over here, and there is an OK button or a select button. Then there is the options button, home button, and the back key, just like your traditional Android keys. And the LE logo is also a button which I will show you when we switch on the TV. So one of the major questions that I also had, that if this remote works on RF or radio frequency, how will you train one of your remotes, like which is supplied with your DTH operator, to work with this to control the TV? Like you have the volume control and you have the power on off on your DTH provider. Mine is an Airtel, so this can be programmed to work as a TV remote, so that you don't need to always use this one just to watch plain TV, as this is an IR remote. So what was really surprising is, so when the TV is off, this works as a IR remote, the LETV's remote. So that is really helpful in programming a remote like this. So these are also IR remote. I don't know whether you can see that slight flicker of IR. So what you do is, like in my case, when you press the OK button and 2 button together, this is for Airtel DTH, it goes into programming mode. So you can see the LED is blinking and it's ready to pair. So I want the volume keys to be programmed, so I'll press volume up, and then I'll press volume up on this also, and that should train the remote. So we will test it out when we switch on the TV. So now this is, let me do the volume down also. Now this Airtel remote can control the volumes on the LETV, as that does have an IR receiver in the front. So I have configured the Airtel remote to even switch on the TV. So let's check whether it works. So this is the button that we have to press to turn on the TV. And you can see the LETV logo has lit up and the TV has switched on. So this remote has been successfully programmed to be used with the LETV. So same thing you can follow with your respective DTH provider. So the next thing a lot of you were worried about is the booting time of the TV, and there are different reviews out there saying it takes too long to boot. So I'm just going to switch it on right now. I'll tell you when I hit the power key, and we'll see how long does it take and how annoying is that starting animation. I personally do not find it annoying. I find it nice that the TV switches on in a extravagant way. So I'm hitting the power button. So I think we can start counting. So I think that was about 10 seconds. Now the animation is for 15 seconds. And when this animation is going on, you can control the volume. So you don't have to worry about having a too loud animation, and you can even switch the audio off in the settings. So that was another 15 seconds. And I would say another 5 seconds more. So about 30 seconds for the TV to start. I would like to quickly mention the power consumption of the TV also. So I have connected it to my power meter over there, and you can see it's consuming about 130 to 132 watts. So that is pretty good. It is pretty equal to the View Iconium TV which I had, but View does go up to 150 watts sometimes if you put it in a very bright dynamic mode. So 130 watts is pretty normal for a 55-inch TV. So the next thing we have is wireless display. So this does support casting from your phone to the TV. So let me just show it to you quickly. I have my S7 Edge over here. I'm going to press start, and then I'm going to go in my S7 Edge and I'm going to press Smart View, because that is what they call. The phone is looking for the TV right now on the Wi-Fi network, and it has found the TV. It's connecting to the TV, and we should have a display pretty soon. And yes, we have it. So this is working pretty well. So I'm going to open the speed test app. So you can see the delay. It's a very minor delay, I would say, which is pretty normal for this. So wireless display works pretty well, and you sort of got an idea about the lag also, which is there, which is normal and nothing extraordinary. Next we go into general settings. So you have the power. Power is the first heading. So you have scheduled power on and off, and there is a nice LED TV logo over there. So when the TV is on standby, it glows really nice blue. It's not very bright. It looks pretty nice. I feel it's better than just putting an LED over there. So the LED TV logo looks pretty good. So you can switch it off if you want by switching it off over here. So when you turn off the TV in standby mode, there will be no light over there. I prefer to keep it on. Next is the time and language. Nothing much to do there. System update, you can update your TV from here. It will just open up that update app which we saw before. Then you can reset the TV to factory settings, and you have a safety function. So in this, you can, like in our Android phones, we have basically a security setting which does not let you install apps from unknown origins. Same thing you need to enable over here in safety settings if you want to sideload apps from your pen drive or something which you download from other sources other than the LETV store. So you have to switch this on, and then you can install all the apps which you want. And this is the clear data, and I couldn't figure out what is this multi-screen. So if any of you know, please do leave it in the comment section so that everybody can be helped and everybody can understand what this multi-screen is. Next is desktop. So a lot of you had this question, and I saw a review of this TV by another tech YouTuber that this TV does not go directly to HDMI. So guys, this is the setting that you need to change. Go to settings, then desktop, and then in that I showed you there is an app page, there is a live page where you can see Up TV, and then there is the input page. So by default it might be on live. So press suppose your TV is on live. So you saw the home button shift over there. So when you switch on the TV will directly go onto the home page. So you can set what is your home page, the app page, the live, or the input. If you want the TV to come to the app page every time you switch it on, you can just press go to app, press the arrow key upwards, and that will be set as the home page. But if you are going to buy this TV only for watching TV and you want it to go to the HDMI input, just set that as the home page, and whenever you switch on the TV, it will go to the input. So that is as simple as that. If my DTH box was on, and when I switched on the TV, it will just switch on, and whatever the HDMI last you had selected, it will go to that only. So it will work as a normal TV. You don't have to mess around with anything else. You don't even need this remote that time. You can just configure your DTH remote, switch on the TV, it will go to your HDMI input and your DTH connection. So I hope that doubt is cleared. And last is about the TV. So device information, network information, storage, how much is free. Seriously, the 3 GB or whatever is available is very less for this TV, but luckily there are not many apps available on the LE store, so you do not use this. If you install one game, this storage is over. A good game, that is like Asphalt 8 or something. So yeah, the user agreement and user experience, which are not really of that much use. So after systems, you have the input. So suppose you plug something into the VGA port, you can go directly to that and see what is there, and it will go into that. But as nothing is connected, it won't display anything. So I have something connected in HDMI 2, which it knows the cable is connected, so we will keep it at that only by default. So next thing what you have is screen off. So what this does is it turns off your display, and till you don't press anything on the remote, it will not switch on the display, and the speakers will continue to play the audio. So you can listen to some music, or if you're listening to radio and you do not want to use that much of power, so the screen will stay off. And I want to tell you, at the screen off, the TV is only consuming 27 watts. So you're saving 100 watts, almost 103 watts to be precise, by just turning off the screen. So you can listen to music for as long as you want, not worrying about your power bills. And as soon as you press the button, the TV switches on. So that is so quick. I just love that. Next is the display settings. We have already gone through that in the previous videos, so please watch that if you want to know more in detail. But basically these are just some predetermined modes for the display, and you can customize it also to your liking. And for the sound, same thing. You have pre-set equalizer settings, and you can always put on original sound. Whatever you like, you can change it accordingly. The sound of the TV is pretty good, as I've told you before also, but there is no custom settings for the equalizers in this TV. So coming back to the remote, I told you there is a screenshot button. So I'm going to press that and you will see how fast it takes the screenshot. So you can take a screenshot anywhere, wherever you are. If you want to note down some information which is coming on the TV, some phone number or something on a teleshopping network or something like that, just press this button and it'll take a picture and store it. Now let's get to the LE button over here. I told you it is a button, it does something. So what this does is, when you press it, this menu comes up. So in this you have TV, screen off, screenshot, and then you have manage. So basically you can keep some shortcuts which you really like to use again and again, and these shortcuts, when you go into manage, you can add some more. And these shortcuts can be anything. It can be functions, it can be apps. Suppose I want to have YouTube in that list, and I want to have Red Bull TV. Okay, so you can see they have been added. So whatever I'm watching, suppose I'm watching TV and all, and I suddenly feel like watching YouTube, I just press this button and I go to YouTube. So that is a really neat function over here. It's like a shortcut key. So let's take a look at the TV through a thermal camera. So at the bottom you can see a lot of heat. At least the yellow part is going to be the hottest part in the frame, and the bluer and the darker shades of color are going to be colder than the yellow parts. So you can see the LED array, which is the backlight for the TV, arranged at the bottom, and you can see they are at about 46 degrees. So that is not much of an issue. And at the top you can see it becomes relatively colder, and that is my pen drive over there, which this video is playing from, and is also at about 43. Now let's take a look at the back of the TV. So you can see two heated areas on left side and the right side of the TV, and in the middle it's relatively cold. So let's check out the temperature of that. So it's at about 49. The TV has been running for about 1.5 hours now. So the internal temperature, about 54, and on the other side, again about 51, 52. So there's a lot of electronics working inside to run a 4K panel, and they will produce some heat, but it's never been like the TV has not functioned properly because of overheating, or even if I touch the panel over here, my hand is there, so it doesn't feel like it's warm. Obviously this area feels warm to touch, and these are the vents. So even on this side, it's just warm to touch. And this panel over here obviously is a little more warmer to touch, almost hot. But this is aluminium, so obviously it's going to dissipate the heat and it's going to heat up. And LEDs do generate a lot of heat when they are working. So nothing too alarming, guys. And anyways, the TV has a 4 years warranty, so it shouldn't be an issue if there is any damage in the 4 years after you buy this TV to the panel because of overheating. So the temperature results are in front of you, and you can decide if you're okay with these sort of temperatures, then you can buy the TV. I don't think it's an issue. They must have designed it by keeping this much heating in mind. So now that the heat test is complete, I would finally like to talk about the pros and cons of the TV. The pro number one is the image quality. You get a beautiful IPS 4K panel which is very true to life in colors and will not disappoint you in terms of image quality no matter what the content you are watching. Even SD content looks pretty good on this, as good as SD content can look. Please don't expect it to look like an HD or a 720p content on this 4K panel, because it has to upscale it, and it does not introduce any pixelation or any kind of a noise while it's upscaling, so that is a good point. So picture quality is not an issue. It's a beautiful picture quality this TV can produce. Next pro is the sound. Sound is also very good on this TV, as I've shown you in my previous videos also. Sound is much better on this TV than most of the TVs that I've heard in the past, which include Samsung, Sony, LG, as well as View, and a bit of Micromax. The third pro I would say is the UI. It's super smooth, never hangs. I've been using this TV for about 12 days now, and never once has it created any kind of a stutter. I wish phones were this smooth, because this is basically running a version of Android. It does everything flawlessly. You press any key, the response is instant. And of course, you need a good internet connection to enjoy most of the content which Lee is providing. But the UI itself is super smooth. It reads all formats. I've never had an issue with any of the formats not working in video or audio. If some movie is in DTS, it will still play it because it has DTS decoder. Dolby works. It plays MKVs, MPEG-4s, H.265, 60 frames a second. Everything works perfectly on this TV, and the UI just complements it. And you will have a blast using this TV because it's so smooth. Yes, you need to be a little tech savvy, or you need to just learn how to use this, and it's not a complicated TV to use. It may look like that in the starting, but it gets very easy to understand after a day or two of using. Yes, it's going to be different from the previous TVs that you might have used in the past, but that is not a con of this TV. You can get used to the UI very quickly. The third is the features that it offers. Obviously, everybody might not get the 2 years of free content that LE is providing. I think this was only the offer with the first units of TV that were sent out. I'm not sure about that. If any of you have bought the TV now, please let me know whether the content is working for you or not. And the extra added feature of using Skype and adding a camera on top, and especially with a port on top. I don't know when that camera will be available, or whether other USB cameras work or not, but the fact that there is a USB port on top, I think makes it much easier for us to attach a camera there and just leave it over there and Skype with our friends, family, or whoever very conveniently. Another pro of the TV is the build quality. It looks fantastic. I feel it is one of the best looking TVs. The special yoga stand that you see down there, it looks really beautiful. Right now, I don't know, the lighting is maybe not right, or the camera is not exposing properly, but once you place it in your house or bedroom or wherever, it just looks something very different and very beautiful. And they have really done a great job of designing the TV. It's thin also. It's not very light, I would say, but it's made of good materials, and that stand definitely makes it stand out from other TVs. And even if I used to prefer wall mounting my TVs, but after looking at the stand, you really don't feel like wall mounting it, and you like to place it on the stand itself. Another good thing about the TV is the number of ports which are available. You have 3 HDMI 2.0 ports, 2 are USB 3.0, and 1 is USB 2.0. So the one on top, which you can see where my pen drive is connected, is a USB 3.0, and one you have on this side, on the right hand side, that is, and there is a USB 2.0 port also, and you have a full-size SD card reader also. You have a host of inputs available, from VGA to everything if you want to connect it. I don't know, still people are using VGA, but if you want, you can do it. You have component input, you have composite input, you have optical output. So everything is covered over here. The remote is another pro. I just love this remote. After you use this remote, you would not want to go back to any other remote that you use. I'm gonna have a hard time using the View TV. The remote, definitely the functionality can be improved on the remote, but Right now also it's pretty nice, and obviously you can they have really thought about everything with the remote. It's very easy to use, very less number of buttons, feels really good, and it's a good thing. So let's talk about few of the cons of the TV. First I would say is that the inbuilt memory is quite less. The storage capacity, at least they should have given 16 GB, because out of the 8 GB hardly 3 GB is available for us to install apps. So what can you install in 3 GB except these small apps like Facebook and everything. Even Facebook actually is a big 200 or 300 MB setup file. So forget about installing games, because Asphalt 8 I installed and I tested it, and it finished the memory, inbuilt memory. So I wish they had more memory, or in the future at least they can make the apps go to the SD card. If we install an SD card, which is there, the SD card port is there on the back. If we can transfer the apps to that would be great, if they can add that functionality. But as of now, you cannot move the apps to the SD card. Another con, or sort of a con I can say, is that there is no wall mount included in the packaging. So I don't know how exactly the Flipkart executive who visited my place, after I bought the TV. By the way, this is a bought TV. I did buy it. A lot of you had the question, is it a review unit? It is not a review unit. I have bought this from Flipkart, and they visited me and they wanted to wall mount it, but I'm like, no, I'll just keep it on the stand because already the view is wall mounted over there. So I thought I will do it later by myself, but there is no wall mount included in the packaging. So I don't know whether the Flipkart executive was supposed to get it, or are they going to charge me extra, or do they have some other fancy technique of wall mounting this which I don't know about. One more con which I have mentioned before in the previous videos is that there is a sort of backlight bleeding issues with that is generally with IPS panels. You have some amount of backlight bleed at different angles when you look at it, or in very dark scenes you do notice backlight bleeding. But if your TV has extra amount of backlight bleed in some corner or somewhere which you notice after buying the TV, I think the first thing you should do when you buy this TV is check for backlight bleed, and if you feel it is abnormal, then you can go for a return. But please understand, there will be sort of some amount of backlight bleed. That is just the inherent property of IPS panels. And yes, sometimes you will be lucky and it will not show any backlight bleed, or very minimal backlight bleed even if you have an IPS panel. But most of the cases you do find some kind of a backlight bleed with IPS. So coming to another major con, which in my testing I have already shown you in the gaming review of the TV, that they claim it to be a 60 Hz IPS panel. They claim they have provided HDMI 2.0 ports. Then why the hell doesn't it work at 60 Hz 4K when I'm connected to a graphics card which supports 4K at 60 Hz? So what is the issue over there? If any of you have a solution to that, please let me know. But for me, it only works at 1080p 60 Hz when I'm connected to my PC, which is more than capable of running at 4K 60 Hz over HDMI 2.0. And if I'm wrong, you can let me know in the comment section that maybe some settings that I didn't do right, and that is why it didn't work. But as of now, in my testing, it does not work at 4K 60 Hz over HDMI. So that was one of the major cons I could find with the TV, because I was really looking forward to using this as my monitor. So I know it is a little crazy thing to do, but a 55-inch 4K monitor actually makes sense, because 4K is something you can look at from a closer distance and still not find pixelation. So it really makes sense. If it is an IPS panel, if it is color accurate, you can actually use it as a monitor. So it would give you so much of space to work with. The timeline would be really long, especially for editing. So I thought I would at least test the concept of using a big screen TV as a monitor, but I can only do so in 4K at 30 Hz. So that is that is just my concept gone over there. So maybe in future some TV comes along and I can test it out. But that is it, guys. I mean, there is not a whole lot wrong with this TV. Amazing product at the price that they offer it, which is 60,000 rupees right now. I got it for 54,800, 900 because there was an offer by using some credit card to buy this. So if you can get some kind of an offer like that, it even makes more sense to buy this TV. If you get it at 60,000 also, which is about $830, still it is worth it. It's an amazing TV, amazing piece of technology at this price. Now there are other versions of this TV where it comes in a 65-inch VA panel, which is about 1 lakh rupees. And there is a IPS 4K A+ panel, which is a 3D TV, and that is 1.5 lakh rupees. So I think all three should be pretty good. I have not tested or seen the other two models as of now, but if this is any indication towards what LE is producing, so the 55-inch really proves it that the other products also might be really good at what they do, and sort of the user reviews have been proving that these TVs are really performing well. Especially I want to check out 4K passive 3D, the 65-inch model. I want to see how it looks, because passive 3D does, at full HD passive 3D doesn't look really that good. It would be interesting to see. And also the 65-inch 3D TV, which is the top of the line, is also a 120 Hz panel. So I want to test out whether it works over HDMI at least at 4K 60 Hz. So that would be interesting to see, because this is a 60 Hz panel and it supports 30 Hz over HDMI. So I hope the 4K 120 Hz panel can support 60 Hz. So that maybe 65-inch monitor could make sense then. So guys, this completes the review of the LeEco 55-inch 4K LED TV, and I hope you liked the video. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Please just don't look at the review and move on to the next video or something. Do hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel out, and it lets me understand that you like the content and makes the hard work worthwhile. And if you liked the video, hit the like button also. And if you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below. I'll try to answer it as soon as possible. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.